Hello, welcome back to my channel. In this video, we are going to talk about creating an ideal week. This topic request came in specifically during the last batch of YouTube requests. I do ask for your suggestions about once a quarter, either here on YouTube in the community tab or over on my Instagram, which is the same at planwithlaken. I will ask if you have any questions or any specific video requests. And somebody asked last time I opened it up, can you comment on creating an ideal week? And I thought, I absolutely can, but you may not like what I have to say, especially because some of the things that I have to say are in complete contradiction to something I've done in the past, which is always a good reminder that you are allowed to change. You're allowed to grow. You're allowed to change your mind. You're allowed to learn as a person. And there might be something that you have tried in the past or you have talked about in the past. And this doesn't have to be like on social media creating content. This could be literally something in your regular life, something that you have tried and stood behind, and you can change your mind. It doesn't mean that you have to stick behind that for the rest of forever. So I don't know exactly where the ideal week or the concept of the ideal week came from. I have seen it shared by a number of people in the planner community over the course of, I don't know, almost 10 years now. I feel like that the planner community, wait a sec. I joined a Facebook group January of 2014. So we are coming up on about 10 years of the planner community, and I started my Instagram not too long after that. Well, not the point of this video, but I do want to say that I'm not saying that this is an idea that I created and shared and I'm now changing my thoughts on. I've seen it shared in a number of different places. But the concept is that you are creating what your ideal week would look like, given that everything works out. So you would wake up at this time. This is what you would do in the morning. You would leave at this time for work. Your commute would work out perfectly. You would get to work at this time. You would work from this hour to this hour. This is what you would do after work. You would do this routine. You would work out during these times. You would go to bed. This is how much sleep you would get, etc., etc. And while I do see the value of mapping things out to get a sense of realistically what can you get done in a regular 168-hour week, but the concept of creating an ideal week where that is what's going to actually happen is pretty unrealistic. So I'm gonna start with like the 3 things that I feel like don't work about creating an ideal week. And then I'm gonna give you 3 tips or things that I think would be beneficial for you to do instead to help you manage your time and achieve your goals. So the first issue, which I think is pretty obvious that I have with this concept, is that your ideal week, this ideal week that you map out, is likely never going to come to fruition. The biggest reason is that we truthfully don't have control over our time most of the time. And maybe there is a unicorn scenario. You live alone, you don't have a partner or kids, you work for yourself, and so therefore you are pretty much in control of your time 100% of the time. But for most of us, that's not the case. For most of us, there is something else or someone else waiting on us, scheduling things for us. We're waiting on them. There's something else that is contributing to the times that you're putting down on that piece of paper. And I would argue that every single week, at least one thing is going to get shifted because of someone else, something that is 100% out of your control. At the same time, regardless of the scenario, we are very bad at estimating how long things are gonna take. I know that I personally still struggle with this. I feel like I've gotten better at it over the years, but there are a lot of things in my life, both personal and business, goal related or not, that I still really struggle with estimating how long things are going to take me. So while I may be able to map out this perfect ideal week, it's never going to play out exactly that way because things are going to take more time or less time than I thought they were going to. So again, while it can be beneficial to go through this exercise to get a more realistic snapshot of what could fit in your calendar, it is not beneficial to create something and then have an expectation that that is exactly what's going to happen. Which leads me into number 2, which is that most of us, if we make this perfect plan, this ideal week, and then something gets thrown off, right? Either because of the weather or somebody else, or something takes more time or less time, then we want to throw the entire plan out the window. And we want to just forget about the whole thing and say, I'm going to start fresh next Monday. I know that I have been there. And so not only do we have to realize that that is going to happen, like something in this week that I have made is going to get shifted, We have to be open and flexible to continuing with what's important to us even when we get off track. And I know that that is easier said than done. That is a mental game. I cannot tip and trick you through that situation other than to tell you in advance that it's going to happen. And sometimes just knowing that and removing the expectation that our weeks and our days are gonna look exactly like we plan them on a piece of paper can help when things do go awry. That said, this also very much can apply to an ideal day as well. Although I will talk a little bit later how we have a little bit more control on a daily basis versus a weekly basis. Number 3, and I am so guilty of this, we create that ideal week and we fill it to the brim. We fill every minute of that 168-hour week, even though we are including things like sleep and hopefully fun things like spending time with our spouses or kids or family members, friends, but we are filling every single minute. And I know I've been there. I have posted on Instagram ideal weeks in the past where I have color coded and I have thought it all out. I have included everything I want to work on in that season of life. That could be bonus number 4, is that it is constantly changing. I didn't include that in my outline, but I think I might need to talk about that in a second. Back to filling up our entire week. We cannot function that way. That is just not sustainable for most of us as humans. And again, I know that I am personally guilty of this, and I have told this story a number of times that late 2019, early 2020, Laken was 100% headed for a burnout because I was filling every hour of every day and I was not resting enough. And it wasn't until the universe was like, all right, we're gonna shut down and I'm gonna force you to rest, that I slowed down a little bit and quickly realized how much I needed that in my schedule. Let's quickly touch on the whole, it absolutely changes very regularly. For most of us, the second that we create this ideal week with our current season of life, knowing what we know now, something changes. And sometimes those changes we see coming, right? So we know, okay, I'm making this ideal week just for the summer. And then when school starts, I'm gonna make a new one. And then in the spring semester, I'll make a new one, so on and so forth. I did that a lot in college. Like I would make one of these, gosh, I've been doing this for that long. I would make like an ideal week every semester of college based on what my class schedule looked like. Spoiler alert, I never followed it. But what about all the things that change in our lives that we don't see coming, or that are so like not as big of a shift, but it absolutely could impact your ideal week? Even something as simple as, oh, I have to pick my kid up this time instead of this time from school because they have a rehearsal after school, and then after the show is over, it's no longer there. Those things are constantly happening in our lives, such that our need to create an ideal week is constant change. And so we would be doing this same exercise so often that ultimately it would not end up benefiting us, which truthfully is a great transition and ties into my first suggestion of things that I think would be more beneficial for you to do when it comes to planning your time and planning your goals instead of creating an ideal week. Number 1 is planning out your time on a weekly basis. Instead of saying, oh, every week for the foreseeable future, for this period of time, I'm gonna fit and it's going to look like that. Let's talk about just the next week. Let's say for the next week, knowing what I know about appointments and the things I have going on, this is what my week looks like, and planning out your time on a weekly basis. And maybe you're like, well, Laken, I already do this. And so then number 1 is not for you. We'll get to tips 2 and 3 in just a second. But I want you to keep in mind a couple of things. The further out that we go, the less we know, right? The more that can pop up and change the plans that we set. So I like to plan a lot. I mean, if you're here, you probably like to plan too. I like to plan. So I like to start with a monthly plan, and I know that that monthly plan is the loosest, right? That is very possible that something is gonna pop up, something is going to change. So I do that plan on a Google Cal. It's digital, it's easier to change and move around, but I still have a loose plan for the month, knowing that it's very likely things will change. Then when we get to a weekly basis, I know that things are a little bit more set in stone. In fact, I think back to a conversation that I had with my now husband back when we were dating. It was definitely further into our relationship, but I don't think we were engaged yet. But it was happening a lot where he would want to make plans last minute. And I don't mean like simple plans, like going out to dinner or something like that. I mean like bigger plans with other people, things like that. he would try to make them on a much shorter time frame. And I finally had to tell him, like, I like to plan my week out a week in advance. And I like to think of my week as pretty set in stone, like when the week starts. And so I would really appreciate if when we're making plans, we can try to make them at least a week out. Now, I realize that's not always possible, right? Things pop up, things happen, but I really do appreciate if we can plan it further in advance. And so he kind of always went by that weekly rule that he would try to make plans with me a week out, and that I have the flexibility that if he pops up a plan, whether it's, you know, something that somebody else invited us to or whatever it is, with less than a week's notice, I might say no. I don't always say no. It kind of depends on what the week looks like, kind of depends on what else is going on, but I like having that boundary of, I like to plan things out a week in advance. Now, that may not always work for your life, depending on everybody else involved in your schedule and your plans. That is what works for us. And obviously that's about to get completely shaken up with a baby in the works. But for now, I know that when I plan out my week, it's pretty much set in stone. And like, those are the plans that I have for the week. And so I transition all of that from my Google Cal onto my weekly notepad. And I like having it notepad style versus a planner. That way I can hang it up above my desk and I see it all week long. Now, if you've ever watched one of my Plan With Me videos where I plan out the week and then I show you every day throughout the week, do things change? Absolutely. Do I make adjustments on a daily basis? 100%, which is why I then plan out on a daily basis, because I know that things are going to change. Now, some of these changes are things actually getting scheduled and or canceled. Literally today, the day I'm filming this video, I had a call scheduled for today. I woke up to an email from the person I was supposed to have that call with. They have the stomach bug, that call isn't happening, that got canceled. It happens all the time. And some of that is the nature of going back to me not being able to estimate how long things are gonna take, and whether it's business tasks or personal tasks, having to move things from day to day because it's going to take more or less time than I originally planned. And that is why I like planning out my time on a daily basis. Once again, I do this on a daily notepad because I don't feel the need to keep these. And it was the easiest way for me to design something that I knew 100% I would use because it's perfect for me. I am not saying that if you do not plan out your life and your goals on all of these different methods, that you are not going to be successful. It may work for you like it works for me to do a loose month, a more concrete week, and then a really more solid daily. It may work for you to do just one or two of those three. But the tip and the number one thing is that you are planning out your time with the knowledge, with the expectation that the shorter the time frame is that you are planning, the more concrete those plans are going to be. And anything further out, hold those plans loosely and add an element of flexibility. All right, the second recommendation that I have, or not even a recommendation so much as a request, and this should not surprise you after what I said in the first half of the video, you need to include white space. What I mean by white space is that there is time in your plans, in your calendar, that there is nothing planned. There is time in the plan for there to be nothing planned. Why is this so important? I have talked about this topic in the past. I have a whole separate video on it. I know I've talked about it on a number of lives. Our energy levels vary day by day. Our energy is in a constant state of fluctuation. There are gonna be days in the month, in the week, that you are super high energy, I call superhero version of me. There are gonna be days in the month that you just literally wanna lay in bed all day. And most days are gonna fall somewhere in the middle of this entire energy spectrum. And one of the best ways to work within that energy spectrum, because you sometimes won't even know until that morning or even later that day how you're gonna be feeling, is to leave white space in your plans. And then when the day comes, you can decide how you wanna spend that white space. There are days that I am superhero version of me and I spend that white space working and either getting ahead or catching up or something related to my business. And then there are days I am on the other end of the energy spectrum and I spend all of that white space laying in bed, reading or watching TV. Like, I will get in bed at 7 p.m. sometimes. Most days I'm somewhere in the middle, right? Most days it's not an all or nothing. I'm spending some amount of time doing something on a list, whether it's business or personal or goals, and then I'm doing some sort of rest, rejuvenation. but I like having that time in order to make that decision on the day of. And I can't sit here and give you like the scientific math major number of how much white space to include, because that's gonna really vary based on your needs as well as your ability to include white space, right? If you are somebody, like right now, being 8 months pregnant, I include a lot more white space than I used to in my days. That white space is about to disappear. Maybe not totally disappear. I do still have my husband and help from other family members, but that amount of white space in my day is going to drastically change once there's a baby here. If you have a chronic illness or a really taxing job or something that might require a little bit more white space, take it. Leave more white space in your calendar. It's okay if that means less goals or less action steps on your list. On the flip side, if you've got lots of kids and a spouse who maybe travels for work, there might not be the opportunity to have that much white space in your day. I would encourage you, if you can try to find at least a little bit of white space on a daily basis. I like to include another chunk on a weekly basis. For me, that boundary kind of looks like we're not gonna have plans Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. At least one of those days is going to be white space. If I'm having a high energy day or weekend, maybe that looks like making last minute plans or going out and doing something with my husband, or maybe it looks like getting in bed at 7 p.m. And then at the same time, on a monthly basis, I like to also try and include one full day of white space that I get to decide how I want to spend that one full day. So those are kind of my parameters. Again, you're gonna have to figure out what works for you in your life, in your schedule. And I didn't necessarily implement this in a healthy way. I went from basically 0 white space to all of the white space because the world shut down and I didn't have a choice, to figuring out what was my like happy medium. And then number 3 is, once you have done those first 2 things, then you schedule time for your goals. And this is number 3, because I believe those first 2 things are more important. You've got to start with your loose plan of all your other commitments, and then you add in your white space, and then you add in your goals. And that might result in less time for your goals than you actually want. And you're like, well, I'm gonna be making really slow progress. But slow progress is better than no progress. And so I want you to prioritize, obviously, all your other commitments in life first, and then your white space, and then your goals. And that might mean that the times that you're working on your goals looks different every single week, which is, again, why I feel like the ideal week can sometimes get us thrown off, right? Let's say that you have a goal to work out 3 times a week. And so you say, okay, it makes sense. I'm gonna do it on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday mornings before work, and that's gonna be the time that I work out. And maybe in an ideal, perfect world setting, that works. How many holidays fall on a Monday? What if your kid has a doctor's appointment on Wednesday morning and you've got to take them to that? What if a million other things pop up so that that doesn't work? Well, if you're doing it this way and you're planning out your time first, and then you're plopping in your 3 workouts, maybe this week your workouts are Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, or Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, based on whatever else is going on. Your progress doesn't have to look the exact same, be the exact same day, time every single week for it to be successful, which is ultimately why I feel like the ideal week doesn't always work. I feel like that's the conclusion of this video, but that you do need to schedule time for your goals in order to make progress on them. If you have any additional questions or thoughts or things you want to chat about related to this, follow-ups, let me know down in the comments. I will be happy to continue the conversation there. But if you liked this video, I would appreciate if you would give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, please click that subscribe button. I upload new videos every week focused on helping you achieve your goals. Thank you so much for watching. And that